And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the episode 22 of the House Talks podcast. Karn's not here right now, so we're switching everything up because it's better when Karn's not here.
I'm going to be Captain Serious today.
Yeah, I'm just going to shut up right after this the whole time.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what role to fill.
That's usually us at the start of the podcast. Connor and Karn are just talking and we're sitting there like,
should we say something?
When do we jump in? I'm like...
We are really playing footsie in the corner. Like, your turn. Just say something.
See, that's what I love about the intro. You just gotta be solid for 40 seconds, and you just pass it on for like 10 minutes.
As you see, the red cups are out. Canucks game 4.
Game
Absolutely, game 4. Hopefully, by the time you guys are watching this, we're in round 3. Hopefully,
conference finals.
We'll see. That'd be pretty impressive. I mean, everybody in the city's been going absolutely wild from. Not only in Van, but in Delta and Abbotsford, like everybody's been going crazy, and it's been great to see.
Scott Road.
I went there first time after 12 years since like the 2011 run. That was a fucking 13 years. Sorry, not good at math here. Watched with my dad. It was a comeback game 1, but I was like, you have to go. John Ipan, they won, right? They won. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. I haven't been there in a while. Go there, my fucking uncle, cousin, dad are outside the truck screaming to the windshield. He FaceTimed me. I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on right now. Honking the whole way. It was wild.
I was drunk. I'm sitting in the back of the car. I video call Jazz, and I just see someone sticking out of the sunroof. Suka in the back just going, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, for all those people who don't know, like Scott Road over in Delta area there, or the border of Delta and Surrey, whenever the Canucks win, absolute parade.
It's actually a vibe, man.
Looks crazy.
And it's all good vibes.
It's all good vibes. Like, it's still family friendly. Like, you take your kids there.
There's a lot of kids there, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even the cops there, they're just laughing, having a good time too, right? That shift probably so much fun for them, just standing there in the middle of a gong show.
They never have problems at any of those.
No. Yeah. So then Scott Road Nagar Geetam there, right?
Yeah. Unless it's a Game 7 finals loss.
And then we'll talk about that when it comes. Hopefully never comes again. Were you guys there for the riots before?
I wasn't there for the riots. Probably as south as you could be in BC from the riots. But I know it was crazy. And
you were actually at Game 7, right?
Yeah, I was at the game. Yeah. Parents called right after. Get out of there right now. It's not safe. I was like, all right, man. I'm coming home.
But it was like, what grade was it? It was 2011. So
I was in grade 12.
So I was in grade 10 that you meet a bunch of buddies. My dad took us, dropped us off. Obviously, we were trying to get drunk, right? So we got liquor, walked around. Little grade 10ers, shit-faced walking around there. And then next thing you know, they're losing. We didn't watch the fucking game. I don't know what the score was. I'm checking online. There's no data. And then next thing you know, fucking they lost. And then shit just went south.
The whole city's on fire.
There's fucking, the cops smoking the smoke grenades everywhere. And luckily, my dad was a taxi driver, so he knew all the roads. I'm like, I'm here. He's like, okay, go straight, take a right this alley, take a left this alley. And then this guy was standing there, got in the car, got the fuck out of there so fast.
I think, like, maybe not, like, to that extent of a riot this year if all things go well or bad, but it's like, yeah, hopefully if we make the Stanley Cup Finals, it's going to be crazy. Win or lose, whatever happens, it's going to be insane.
You know who's going to be in the middle of the riot? Panda.
And they're going to be complaining. Yeah. These people are so out of control, man.
So nothing ever good happens in Vancouver.
As much as like everybody should be able to express themselves online, like you really got to make a separate account. Like go out of your way to make a separate account just to like say something that like give it like a day or two. Nobody's going to care.
100%. It's getting to the point where they need to put in some sort of ID check where every account has to have an ID associated to it.
Like what? Like Call of Duty and PS3 now? Yeah. Back in the day, the lobbies were fucked.
They still are, but now you'll get a notification if you say something a little too messed up. You've been banned from game chat.
Yeah, I've heard your stories. Back in the day, those lobbies were ruthless, man. So racist.
Racist. Man. No one's mom was off limits at that point.
Yeah. You're chirping like a 7-year-old. You're like 22. And the guys call you old and shit.
Yeah, the young kids are the worst, though.
Oh, yeah. Because, you know, you're young kids. You feel you're a little indestructible. And then...
I feel like until you get to your 20s, you kind of calm down, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy that, like, in the game lobbies, like, we're at the old level. Like, level of old people.
I think we're level of old people in life right now,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Not just the gaming lobby, bro.
Yeah, you guys should have seen Jazz try to walk in here today. Almost had to get on the stretcher.
And Jazz is gonna be wheelchaired into the shop tomorrow.
Trying to get my outdoor fitness jersey going on. The Coca-Cola Crunch killed my ass. Can't even walk, dude. Fucking going downstairs. I'm walking down the stairs instead of walking up the stairs. I'm walking backwards. That's the reason my calves don't hurt.
Well, that's because you decided to hit legs the day after.
No, that was, yeah. I'm not thinking straight anymore. You can't really do much when your legs fucking hurt so much, you know? I tried working out, it didn't even work, man.
Because you have to plant your legs to get any leverage, and you can't. You're just.
I can't even really lift my toes up.
Your
right?
legs are up in the air like that.
Yeah, so as you can tell with Karn not here, a little disorganized and
A little peaceful.
yeah, we just wanted to try something a little bit more casual, and we're going to be getting into a few things today, but it's definitely going to be a little bit more relaxed. And one of the things we were talking about before was college, kids leaving college, and how prepared are they? Is it the right transition and everything like that? And Jazz brought up his trade school experience. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so pretty much after high school, I did general studies at KPU, didn't really do much there. Then I got into trade school for welding, did my level 1, 2, and then his level B afterwards. And then whatever, you learn how to pipe weld and all this stuff. Passed the class perfectly fine, learned how to do everything perfectly fine. And then right after, I got a pipe welding job at a high-rise. And they said, yeah, they used to tell us, okay, sometimes you're going to have to blind weld, there's mirrors and everything. And I was like, yeah, I got it, right? You know, the cocky little shit back in the day, you know, I got this, I weld perfectly fine.
What's a blind weld?
No, pipe welding. So there's 2 pipes for, instead of plumbers use the fixtures in the middle.
Yeah.
Instead of, you literally get 2 pipes, say like a 90 degree and like a one going straight up, vertical, and then you weld in the middle of it. So there's like, instead of like the fixtures the plumbers use, you just weld it. Right, it's more cost effective, and then I learned how to do all that. Never really got my ticket for that because I didn't have hours. So I go to this job site. First day, no welding. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm a welder, man. And no one really tells you when you get into trades, you do the bitch work first before you get
for
off.
the first year, you were bottom of the
Yeah,
barrel.
it's like the 11-story building, and the fucking carrying all these welding joints up to the top. The plumbers for the plumbers, right? And then fucking pissed. I was like, what the fuck? I'm a welder. I don't need this shit. Yeah, so that was like a reality check. Like, you're not gonna do what you're doing right away, right? I think it's any field right away, right? And then started welding probably 2 weeks in, and then welding beside electricians. There you see people, the vents are there, and then he's like, okay, we gotta fix this. And there's a fucking huge, like 12-inch pipe, like this thick, and there's a vent right beside it, and the wall right there. I'm looking at these motherfuckers like, bro, what? How the fuck am I gonna fix this? And yeah, and it's literally like 4 inches, like probably not 4, but like 8 inches off the floor. So I'm on my stomach trying to cut this thing first, like all around. In my head, I'm like, this is fucked. I ain't gonna do this. How am I gonna do this? And then I fucking like finally figured out how to cut it. For the first cut was like fucking fully, not even straight. It was like diagonal.
Horizontal.
Fully bingo, first of all. And then whatever, got it lined up, then fucking trimmed half of it, and then I was like, there's like a fucking like 6-inch gap, and I'm trying to, right? Then I fucking, fucking, I forgot the word now, I haven't welded in so long, but pretty much buffer each side and put like probably like a little spacer in between. For all the welders, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, it's been so long. But yeah, so we brought it down, and then he started welding, and then to bring it down, there's 6 stories above us. So we had 3 guys at the top, who talked to the walkie-talkie to bring it down. That's like first world experience for me, right? Like, holy fuck, this is how this shit actually works. And then you brought it down. It took us so long to get lined up, and then you tack it, and then you're trying to weld, and you're blind welding it. It's like, what the fuck? It took me fucking like 4 days to do that. Usually, like at the shop, like when you're learning, it's a perfect like world, right? It takes you like 2 or 3 hours. And after that, I was like, then another joint happened. Then obviously you get better at it, but no one really tells you how like the experience out in the real world actually is. And that was like a wake up call for me. I was like, holy fuck, this is fucked.
Dude, 100%. Like, it's always great to learn in the classroom from an educational purpose, but some people, A, learn better in the field, and then B, it's like for trade school, it's like you're learning the basics of how to physically do it, but it's like, how do you do it in the real world? Like, because like you said, you have to work around other trades. You have to do stuff where, okay, maybe we didn't have a 60-story high rise in the shop to learn how to like push pipe down. And
then like for me, it was a smaller company, so I was the only welder. Usually when you get into a field, as a trade, you have people teaching you the ways, right? I think it was like one-off experience that I had, but like some people probably have like experience in their business and stuff too. But usually you go there, people teach you how to do it. Like I learned everything to do from like instructors and stuff. I passed. Like I was doing. I thought I was a good welder until I went out there. I was like, this is fucked. I was on my stomach, like literally like in a prone position trying to weld, smoke in my face. There's a vent right here, door here. I'm like blind welding, getting my phone out because he had no mirror, trying to see if it was in there. Yeah, that thing probably has a few leaks.
Yeah, remind me not to move into whatever building.
No, we do. You obviously do pressure checks, right? After like it was good, and then I had to redo a little bit of it, the backside. So we got like the foreman called the other foreman of the other company, and they got the vet moved away. And then first of all, foremen in different trades do not get along,
No, they don't.
especially when you have to backtrack a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because those guys were already in like eighth floor, I think, and we were like on the sixth floor. And bro, it was like a hassle. I'm like, yo, we gotta get this done. If we gotta get done, then you get done. The whole building's complete. Yeah, it took a while for that, but that was like our first experience. Like how you expect things to happen, never really go how it's gonna happen.
100%. I was having a conversation with one of my buddies the other day, and we were talking about school and education and stuff like that. We like one of the lines that he said that I thought was great is, kids have never been more educated but less prepared in their lives. And so I've seen that a lot of my friends have graduated college or university in the last year or two, and they're getting into the workforce and hearing about all those workforce experiences. And for some reason, like they seem really shocked that this is the way it is. And me personally, like if I went to a school for 4 years, paid $80,000+ for an education, and I came out A, unprepared, B, no idea what I wanted to do, and C, like really shocked by what's going on, like to me, you weren't educated properly. Yet again, always good to learn the fundamentals, but like to me, the best way to learn is just like in the field, messing up. And all these experiences that my friends are going through right now are experiences I went through when I was 18. And I feel very fortunate to have gone through those, because it's when you went to school for 4 years, I was learning all that in the field. And I feel, especially for me, who's somebody who learns much better hands-on, it's you can get just as good, if not a better education, just physically doing it and learning through people. Like people will spend 80 grand on school, but they won't spend 80 grand to go learn from a CEO for 4 years. And I feel like you get so much more education out of that.
Real life experience, right? It's completely different when you're in school. You're just looking at definitions and reading from a book, but how do you apply that in a real world situation?
Especially with other people too, right? Like when in class, you're literally book exam. But like, okay, you're working, but now you had to deal with this guy over here and this guy over there. And you still got to do your own work, but you got his problems are your problems because you're all tied in together. And how do you manage people like that too, right?
And you're not accountable to anyone other than yourself. Whereas in a real world experience, you're accountable to the guys who are the foremen for the vent, plus the electricians, plus the plumbers. You're accountable for 3 separate groups of people.
Yeah, and that was my first ever time. Before it was just me and just welding, right? Not accountable for everything going on. And there's like people actively walking. When you're welding, the light's bright, right? When the actual arc is super bright, so make sure screens are set up and everything. But it's just like,
I think maybe add a year of internship, take away a few of the level 1 courses that are absolutely brutal, and then send kids off on a 6-month internship. What better way to prepare someone for the real world than actually put them in that situation where they're actually getting the experience, and they go, you know what, I might actually like to do this, or you absolutely hate it and you pick something else to do.
Yeah, that's why like most trades are like that too. Level 1 you do, and then you go on the field, get your hours, and do level 2 like that. For me, it was just like a special occurrence. But like I was still like, I could weld. It's just like the whole overall environment, and it's not what you expect, and how to overcome that by yourself as a young teen or like early 20s. It's like, and you're around grown men that are doing it for like their whole life, and adjusting to that's the hard.
And you can't even teach that in a classroom, because it's like a 1 in probably 1,000 chance that you'll be welding something like that in the real world.
Yeah.
So it's like, why spend time on something that might never happen to you as a welder?
100%. Yeah, and it's like, aren't you glad that like you figured out like after like level 1 or 2 that it was or wasn't for you, rather than like going through another 2-3 years or whatever it may be and like finding that out. Like, yeah, I think internships are key. Like honestly, like there should be like an internship after first year and then an internship after third year.
You should get like credits for that too, kind of cross-reference each other, right?
Yeah, like the fact that like you have to pay to take essentially pointless classes in college, like never really made sense to me. And it's like, oh, it's part of the curriculum or part of the curriculum. God, I can't speak, but yeah, and it's just like
it makes no sense. Like
it makes no sense.
BCIT, they make you take as a year 1 if you're in business of any type, they make you take a class called organizational behavior, which is pretty much this is how an organization runs. Why not take that course out, take a few other courses that are somewhat like that you would better understand with first-hand experience? Why not take those out and actually do 6 months of, okay, you're going to go work for someone. You're going to have to do assignments along the way. Chart those out so they map those courses, but at least let that real-life experience come into play, right?
And you're going to learn about the organization structure being in the organization, not reading about an organization, right?
Because how many people do you hear about, they do a degree and they go work and they fucking hate it? Because they don't know what's going to be real. They like what they study and then just keep doing it, but then they go on the field and like, fuck, this is not for me.
100%. And how many people get a full degree and never use it in their lives? Or apply to jobs that you don't need a degree for? And like that I find like a little sad. And like we're not saying that college is a scam or useless or anything. Like if you're a doctor, lawyer, anything where you need a college degree, a master's, doctorate, whatever it is, like absolutely, like that's just the only course forward, right?
Even in business, if you want to go get your bachelor's in business, go do your master's, feel free to do it, but just know what your end goal is. If you're just trying to open up your own business, both of those are very useless degrees. You're better off taking a few courses a semester, work on the side, save up money, whatever money you were going to put towards tuition, save it up and open up a business, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, all about being self-aware, what you really want to do is what the main thing is, right?
Yeah, like you shouldn't be going to college to figure out what you want to do. Like you should be going to college with a plan. Like, yeah, if you're fresh out of high school and your parents are going to pay for it, like go for a year. Like that's...
Take a year and just take general courses.
100%.
Something that's like prevalent between multiple, what is this called?
Faculties?
Yeah, multiple faculties. I thought that was a word and then I just brain fart. Yeah, but take a few courses that are good for multiple faculties and then just go pick the one that you admire the most.
But I also feel like some people, when you get their full degree, right, people are hesitant to apply at the position they think they're underqualified for just because they got, right? They overthink it. And the person sometimes, like, you'll look at someone who didn't do the best and just barely got his degree, he'll apply, he'll get the job, but the person that aced the degree won't even apply because, oh, I'm not ready for this. Yeah. Sometimes you just say fuck it and apply, right?
You just have to jump into the fire.
It's all about the confidence, too, at that point, too, right? Yeah. Some people don't really know, okay, I have this degree, I have no work, real world experience. There we go. Got it out, boys. Sounded out. Sounded like fucking Rob Gronkowski on Tom Brady's roaster.
I just watched that last night, man. That was crazy.
No, but like some people like hesitate in their own head, right? They can't do it. And then they aced their degree, but the person that didn't really ace the degree, but just got by and still got the same degree, probably not the highest numbers, applied to the job, probably got it, and then you're probably looking outside, how did he get the job? Where you're working as like a beginner position when you know you could do better than that, right? So overthinking it sometimes happens too.
100%. And like being like a young person as well, like out of college or anything, like whatever you do, you're not going to be 100% prepared. In anything in life, like you're not going to be 100% prepared, but you still have to act.
But I think that goes back to your high school education too. Yeah. What do they really teach you in high school? You don't know how to file your taxes. You don't know anything about the real world. It's just, okay, you're going to sit here, do some algebra. I haven't used algebra since high school.
Our silent read here. We got a silent read in 30 minutes today, guys. And you and your buddies just look at each other making weird faces. Go to the washroom across the fucking school.
Yeah, 10-minute washroom trip, come back.
No, but the small things, I don't know. They should divide high schools a little more, like what you want to do, and you should follow that.
One of the big values from high school, university, or anything like that people don't talk about is networking. Like if you're going to go to university and your parents are going to pay for it and like you know you have 4 years there, like make friends with all the people that you think are going to be founders of companies, people that are like actually trying to do something, and use that as a networking experience, because there's a good chance there's a lot of people in that university or college that you're at that are going to do great things in the future. And rather than just going to class, getting drunk with your friends that you've known for 10, 15 years, like go out there and meet some new people that like you can build with. Because even if you're a C- student, but you've made good friends and good connections with somebody whose dad owns the biggest construction company in the province, and then they're going to take it over, it's like that's one hell of a connection to have. Doesn't matter how you performed in school, doesn't matter anything else. If they like nepotism's a thing and it's always going to be a thing, but it's not a bad thing as well. Because then, like, let's say you're somebody, you know somebody, and they're applying for a job, and you're like, oh, I know them. And like, you might think, I don't want to hire this person because I know them. But it's like, you know exactly what you're going to get. And why wouldn't you try to hire somebody where you know exactly what you're going to get versus somebody where you have to assume and figure it out? Like we were talking with Jesse Kara on the last couple episodes, like hire slow, fire fast. But if you know who you're hiring, like you can hire quite quickly.
100%. It's also like going to network people that are not in the same field as you, right? Get their different experience, and then you'll have someone, you know, someone in this field who need help, someone in other field need help, right?
Yeah, expand your social circle, whether that's high school, college, university.
Even now, it's sometimes hard to do trust people, but
You don't have to blindly trust them. Just be friends with everyone, but keep it within the boundaries you set for that friendship, right?
know
all
your
it is. You
know
don't have
your
to-
limits, stay within it.
Yeah. Play now, BCLC, not sponsored.
Every Canucks commercial.
We are not sponsored, so fuck you guys.
But if you want,
If you want, you can hit us up at housetalksmedia@gmail.com. We'll take it.
they'll take it. Yeah.
It compounds over time, right? That's all it is. Whether you start doing that later in life, it's just going to compound later, but eventually it's going to pay off. Whether that's networking, whether that's the amount of time you spend working, the amount of time you spend on R&D, whatever the case is. If you do all of that early in your career, those benefits are going to show up later in your career. And when you get to that point, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, oh, my life's so easy. But then you look back at it and it's like, well, I did times 100 when I was 30. And then I did times 50 when I was 35. By the time you're 50, you're only going to be doing times 50. And then 60, you're at maybe 25%, which is pretty much semi-retired. But your brain's still firing. But you don't have to work, right? Because you have so many connections you've made over your life and every facet of it that you don't have to work as hard to make the same ends meet.
100%. Like put the work in early, especially when you have all the energy. Like when you're in your late teens, early 20s, like that's as mostly energetic as you're ever going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Take advantage of that. Like take advantage of those, go do those 12, 14-hour days so that when you're 40, 50, you can take those 12-hour work weeks. And it's like, it's going to pay off in the long run. Because, yeah, it's like, you're going to have to start at some point. You start at 20 or you start at 30. Do you want to start at 30 when you have a partner, maybe some kids? Now your flexibility is gone. Do it when you're in your 20s.
Your flexibility is literally gone. Jazz went for the Coquitlam crunch and he's dying right now. If he did that when he was 20 regularly, he'd be fine right now.
Be coming in here doing some hack squats or something.
So, yeah.
Holy. No, but going back to it, it's like all about network. It's like everybody's in the people industry. It's all about communication, keeping those networks, right?
Whether you're a receptionist or you're working as a janitor, wherever you are, the more people you meet, the more opportunities that are going to open for you.
100%.
You're stuck in that job right now because you're not networking, you're not trying to put in that extra effort to meet these people who you could advance your career with or whatever it may be, because everyone has an innate ability to do at least one thing really good. Doesn't matter who it is. And if you can show anyone in the world what you're good at, eventually that person will realize it.
100%. It's all about staying positive and how Karn says being enthusiastic, right? That one time you meet someone, he's super positive, enthusiastic, you're going to remember him till the next time he comes in. And that person's always going to be a good experience for you, right? And like today we were talking about the shop, the one older gentleman that came in, he got a PB twist and like his vibes were so good. Just made our day for no reason. Just
I was tired and he left the shop and I was full of energy again.
yeah, you're smiling again. That guy.
Dates in the smoothies.
He's like, peanut butter in the smoothie. That's sick. And it's the smallest thing. It just makes your day, right? The energy was so high and it keeps your energy high. Next time he comes in, you're gonna know him, right? The connection's still gonna be the same.
Yeah, like if you're talking to somebody who sees 100, 200 people a day, if you can be that memorable person, like that's the way to go. And it usually doesn't take a lot. It usually just takes like a little bit more than everybody else around you.
Yeah, just staying positive is the main thing, right?
Staying positive is the main thing. Absolutely. And like when we think about people applying for jobs, Like a lot of people get scared and super like intimidated by the interview process. Like let's say you're applying for a job in like 2-3 weeks. My recommendation is go try to connect with some people, rather the hiring manager, maybe as high as you can get up in the company, and just reach out, talk to them, you sit with them, phone call, whatever it is, and don't pitch yourself whatsoever. Just talk to them, be a good person. And then when they go through the hiring process, it's going to help out a lot. Like for me, I've had 4 jobs in my life. I haven't done a single interview. I was hired before anything else. That's because I went and talked to the people beforehand, asked what they wanted in the company. And it just got to the point where they were saying like, hey, we have a job opening. Do you want to like apply for it? And of course, I already knew there was a job opening, which is why I was there. And every single time it was just like, yeah, man, like we'll hire you. No interview process needed. No college degree. Nobody even checked the resume. Nobody called any of the references. And it's just because you actually want to take that little bit more effort and show your face, show what you're about. And like people are very receptive to that.
Not too many people do that either anymore, right?
Nobody does that.
Going back to our hiring one of our employees at the shop that's up my house. So when we first applied, we needed people, and then we put our Indeed resume out, Indeed listing out. I mean, we got like.
So you said Indian resume. I was like, what's that? When did we do that?
English is my second language, so I might be showing you my resume. Show your Indian resume, bro. A little like haldi stain on the side or something.
Haldi is turmeric, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. It's all yellow and shit. Like, what the fuck happened here, right? But no, so we had like 150 people apply, and like going through that's so hard, right? And then his resume was good too, so we did pick like shorten it down. And then after that, next day he came in like a good outfit, another resume again, cover letter, came, talked about himself, and like before that, his name stood out, and then we hired him. Like his interview process, like he killed it. And then me and Karn looked at each other like, yo, I think this is a guy, you know? Even though it's just a small little part-time job, but like when he comes out, he literally asked us what our goals were, what we want to do before we did the interview. And then he just stood out.
Yeah, man. Somebody who's likable, coachable, and has a good personality will beat an A+ student every single day of the week. And I think like that's important. And like that's what people are looking for in the hiring process.
And you got to be willing to learn. Everyone is willing to be a teacher to the right person. If you're a student of the game, doesn't matter how small of a position you're in, someone will be willing to take you under their wing. Look at the greats of all time. Look at Kobe Bryant. After he retired, he took, I think, 30 up-and-coming NBA players, set up a camp, gave them all the recipe of this is how you're going to succeed. And I think 8 of them have won rings after that. So if the greatest in the world can do that for people who are up-and-coming, and he took time out of his schedule running multiple businesses, doing all the stuff with his family, and he can still do it. In the real world, it's possible. I had someone message me on Instagram. I told you guys, remember? Took me 2 minutes of my day to respond, but it was someone legitimately reached out to ask for my opinion. Yeah. Why am I not going to give that person the best advice I possibly can? It's as simple as just taking that initial step of getting uncomfortable and asking a question or raising your concerns on any topic, and I guarantee you ask 10 people, at least 5 to 6 of them will respond with a proper answer.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
And people always think the most successful people are unreachable, right? Yeah. You just gotta be the one to reach out. You never know what you're gonna get. And the main thing about Kobe Bryant, like you always gotta be a learner. Kobe Bryant was a learner until he retired.
Student of the game.
Yeah, like a lot of people say, like the best part of Kobe's career was when he was done playing basketball. And like there's somebody who's accomplished the most you can probably accomplish in a sport. Are like, depending on who you are, arguably top 5 or top 10
Better
ever.
than LeBron.
Better than LeBron. Karn, because you're not here, we're saying it, buddy.
Yeah, fuck you, Karn.
If Karn was sitting here and I said that, Karn would get up, he would yell at me and leave.
Yeah.
I love you, Karn, but yeah, we get heated.
You say Kobe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nobody
LeBron's?
shoots and says LeBron James.
Who wears LeBron shoes as well outside of the court? Nobody's. Yeah. But
He did have some nice shoes, but you can't be the Kobe's.
you can't beat the Kobe's. The Kobe's are great.
Can't beat the Jordans.
Can't beat the Jordans.
Remember the and ones?
Oh, those are wild.
Oh,
They just fell off a cliff.
they had one of the biggest like professional basketball teams in the world.
I had like I had 3, 4 of those shoes growing up, and the tracksuits too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are wild.
Like they were probably multi-million-dollar company at that point, and they just fell off.
And they tried to make a comeback like a year or two ago. I know like Norman Powell on the Raptors, who went to the Clippers, had a shoe with them, and then I just haven't seen them really try to do anything. It's tough, and I know it's a tough market to get into like basketball shoes at this point when you have these billion-dollar companies, Nike, Adidas, Reebok,
But
like
New
all these
Balance
guys.
did it.
New Balance did it. There's a bunch of companies from China, like 361, I think is a company. The Way of Wade brand, I forget the name, but they're killing it too. Linen, that's the name. Yeah.
We're just going off on a tangent.
Basketball
here.
shoes.
Don't be shy to ask questions.
And don't be shy to apply for the job that you want, but think you're underqualified.
99% of questions aren't dumb. There's 1% that are, and everyone who's listening knows what that 1% of questions are.
Yeah, my bad.
And if you ask a dumb question, well, now you know it's a dumb question and you're never going to ask it again.
Exactly.
And you know that. Don't be afraid of failure. The most successful people fail the most.
If you're honestly trying to learn, no question's dumb. It's the questions that have no point, or they're condescending, or they're trying to like get back at you through a question. Those are dumb questions. But if you're legitimately trying to learn and you're trying to better yourself, or you're trying to get the truth out of someone, no thing is a dumb question.
Yeah, because some people will hesitate to ask that one question that one time, and they'll never ask anybody a question because it's always going to stay in their head. They're like, oh, no, I should have asked. No, I don't want to ask. But they want to ask. They want to know the answer. They don't know the answer. But just to feel like this can be a dumb question, they don't ask. And then they're never going to be the person to ask questions.
100%. I think this was 2013 or 2014 when my dad's like, letting you build this house all on your own. It was just a single family home. So forms go up, all the concrete gets poured. Inspector comes in, I'm at the site, walks me through everything. He's like, your retaining wall's too low. It needs to be a little higher, a foot higher on this side, and you got to be a foot lower on the other side, and then you're good to go. I'm like, okay, sure. Prints out the slip, it's all written on there. I go, what the fuck is a retaining wall? I'm standing there. And I was like, I can't ask the inspector because she's going to think that's a dumb question, but call my dad right away. He was like, walks me through it. He's like, this is exactly what it is. I was like, yeah.
There you go. And there's an example of learning in the field, right? It's like you didn't know what it was. You still managed through with the inspector. And then it's just, call the person who you trust could give the best answer afterwards.
Yeah, because being in the field is not all sunshine and rainbows, man.
It's usually not. Usually being in the field is just putting out fires 24/7 all the fucking time. That's usually what it is, yeah.
Because no one really teaches you how the field is until you get out there. 100%. And there's no like exam day. It's like, all right, figure it out. 100%. Go there and figure it out.
And if you fail, you're getting fired.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it's a learning experience. And especially if you don't know what you want to do, just go do something. Because then you can very easily cross that off if you don't want to do it.
100%. Even if you do get fired, you're young, you still have so many opportunities out there, and you won't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
So you're better for it.
Or sometimes when you first get out of like schooling, try different jobs out. A couple different companies out. Work there 6 months, figure out what you like, right? One company you might think might be really good, and okay, this is good. The work's not your most favorite type of work to do, but the company is a good company, and then you might go somewhere else. The company is the biggest company, but you're doing the work you actually love to do. You're never gonna know that, right?
Absolutely. And like take the ego out of the way. Like don't worry about working for those companies that might seem silly from you. Like one of my buddies, I think biggest growth was working with McDonald's. He started when he was 17 as like a little line cook, and then did like the cashier, and then worked up to a shift manager. And like he has had massive growth, but he learned how to work in a chaotic system, learned how to work in that system, and learned how to work his way up. And he was like 19 as a shift manager. And it's like that guy, to me, is accomplishing much more than most 19-year-olds. But you're working at McDonald's. Most people would think, oh, that's a bum job, or you don't want to do that or anything. But it's like he went through all that in his teenage years, and now he's like ready to go. Like you can manage a multi-million-dollar franchise for a portion of the day, and you're a teenager.
It's hard managing a McDonald's, man. Especially a busy location. You're looking at it, you're like, damn.
That was crazy. It was like, yeah, like if you can work in fast food for that many years, like hats off to you. I don't even know if I could do that.
Getting yelled at by random people for shit you don't even know anything about.
Absolutely.
But you guys got to figure out your ice cream machines, guys.
Jazz saw its biggest growth at McDonald's too.
Yeah. Double quarter pounds of
I
cheese.
was gonna say horizontally, or
Horizontally, vertically, everywhere. It just kept growing. Quarter pound of cheese. I fucking demolished those things. No, what was your first job, Connor?
well, my first job was working for Pops, doing like the general labor stuff. So he does makes like tracks and stuff like that. So
Besides family.
Besides family, I worked at a running shoe store.
Oh shit.
That was really interesting. Cause I loved shoes as a kid. Like I always used to do the buying and selling like Jordans and stuff like that in high school. There was a running shoe shop that was owned by Paul Williams, an ex-Olympic athlete, and worked there. And it was really, really cool. And I remember it instilled so much confidence for me because all the time I would have people coming in, and it was a very like technical thing. Like it was like, these are shoes for like marathon runners. Like it's not like a sport check where you walk in, these are pretty, like pick them, whatever it is. Like you really had to know your stuff. You had to know like rocker height difference. You had to know like what cadence you're going to run in, and pronate and supinate and all of that stuff. And it's still stuck in my head.
It's a lot of big words.
Lots of big words.
I am not gonna lie, I just checked the fuck out.
That's okay. But it was great because, it built so much confidence because people would walk in, they'd see me who was 18 or whatever I was at the time, and be like, oh, we're going to wait to talk to so-and-so. And I'd always be like, yeah, no worries at all. And they would just sit there, and I'd pop back in 2 minutes later and just be like, tell me about your problems. And then I would like go back and forth with them. It'd be like, oh, like what is like, ABC problem? And they'd be like, oh, you actually like know what you're talking about. And like from there, then they'd be like, okay, like we want to work with you and stuff like that. Where most people, I think, they get turned away. They'd be like, no, I'm going to go hide in the back or whatever it is. And that to me was like the best experience. And I worked there for about a year, and that was great. Although I'm not selling shoes anymore, like just the sales process and like really learning about your product. Like that's where I learned, like if you know everything you possibly can about your product, you can sell it to
Pay attention
a
to the
lot
details.
of people. Pay attention to the details, regardless if it's shoes, supplements, gym memberships. Like you know the hours of the gym if you're selling a gym membership. Know what you have, like know about your competitors and everything like that. And like if you are educated on whatever you're selling, like right now for me it's like video services and stuff like that. It's like I gotta know what the competition is doing so I can be comparison, and then I gotta know like certain technicalities and just be educated. If you're educated, that's a great thing. You don't have to be educated in a classroom, but for me, I literally learned everything from YouTube. If it was shoes, if it was supplements, if it was learning how to edit videos, like it all like came from the internet.
There's so many videos on
There's
YouTube.
that other app too where you can pay for like a monthly subscription and they have classes on it.
School, like the new one?
No, probably God. I don't know.
Oh, masterclass or something like that.
Something like that, but it wasn't masterclass. Yeah, the app's called Skillshare. Like I just opened it up, and like the first video, it's 28 lessons, 4 hours. YouTube for beginners, how to start and grow your YouTube channel. Like maximize your productivity and organization. It's a bunch of lessons. You got a bunch of categories you can pick from: animation, business analytics, leadership and management. And they just give you like full rundowns from people who've actually worked in the field, and it's like real life experience they're passing on to you.
And it's affordable education, I
Yeah.
assume, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, that's what's been great about the internet is like, depending on your price tag you want to spend, like the access to information is there.
Everything is fucking there.
Everything.
Any
is
problem
there.
you have, anything you buy, you can't fix, go on YouTube, you'll get it done.
When we were growing up, our computers were like half the speed of what our phones are, and those things are like this big.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you look at it,
Yeah,
every
take that
kid.
Telephone wire out, put on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quicker to call somebody and be like, "What's the answer to so and so?" rather
Yeah.
than just looking it up. Now you can just like, "Hey Siri," like, boom, 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 and like there you go.
Apple's releasing their new iOS update. I think it's 18 now. And they're actually working with OpenAI ChatGPT to actually integrate it into your iPhone.
Yeah, that's gonna be
So like you can
absolutely
open up
crazy.
your iPhone, and if you're talking in Spanish and I need a translator, I just talk to ChatGPT and say, I will be talking in English. Every answer I give in English, translate that to Spanish. Every Spanish sentence or word you hear, translate that back to English. You put your phone on the table. You can have I could be doing a business deal with someone from Spain with a phone in the middle, and we could be having an open dialogue.
Which is crazy.
Who would have thought?
And give it a year or two, like how much better it's
Shohei
gonna be.
Ohtani would have been $40 million richer if he had ChatGPT on hand.
Oh, his agent scammed him, right?
His translator, not
Oh, his
even an agent.
translator. Holy fuck.
He just needed a phone, man.
Yeah, that's all he needed, ChatGPT.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, if you don't know something, like there's no excuse to not learn it anymore.
100%.
Like it's okay not to know, but it's not okay to not know and not learn about
Yeah,
it.
you just got to be
100%.
willing to learn.
That's the first thing you do when you don't know something. It makes you feel a little insecure. So you come home and you're like, I want to know that so I don't have that same issue tomorrow or the day after.
Especially if it's with your job, business, or something that you do on a regular basis.
Tim Hortons came out with pizzas now.
I saw that. Like, come on, man.
They're moving further and further away from what Tim Hortons' vision and story and why people fell in love with it was.
Absolutely. Like they got bought out by the company that owned Wendy's in the States, and ever since then they really pumped the food out. And it was like, yeah, they had like a few good things, like a farmer's wrap, like
Unreal.
phenomenal. But it's like pizzas. You're gonna think of all the places you can get pizzas from, and Tim Hortons is.
They have rice bowls as well.
Yeah, rice bowls.
They're not bad though. I'll give it that.
The rice bowls aren't too bad, to be honest.
But that's the thing. Like their donuts, their coffee has gone to shits.
Yeah. Like when was the last time you innovated on a donut or a coffee or anything?
Like a coffee and a bagel in the morning is perfect, man.
Their bagels are really bad now.
Yeah, I never get bagels from Timmy's
Yeah,
anymore.
they taste like cardboard.
Oh no.
Yeah. But that's the thing, right? They're trying to expand to a vision that wasn't there for the company and why people fell in love with it. And now they're like, oh, why is Tim Hortons falling off? There's a reason for it. You let go of the core values of the company, how it started. You tried to diversify into becoming another fast food chain when it wasn't that.
Like Tim Hortons was the community coffee shop.
Exactly.
There was thousands of them, but they were the community coffee shops. Now they're just like a Wendy's or an A&W or something like
I'd
that.
rather go to Starbucks to get coffee now.
When we were younger, I remember every hockey practice I'd go to, after the hockey practice, my dad would grab a coffee from Timmy's. I'd grab some Timbits, go home, munch out. But now it's like you don't even want to touch anything from there other than the farmer's egg grab.
100%. Like, cause you, especially as like an employee, like if you're dealing with 60 menu items versus 16, like the quality is just not going to be
Half the
there.
Timmy's are in gas stations.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe we do need Karn back for the.
yeah. Karn, come back, please.
Yeah, we can't do this clearly.
Yeah. You talk a lot about knowledge about random shit. It kills a good 25 minutes.
Compound interest.
And on that note, thanks for listening.
Be good.
Subscribe.
Like and share. Comment.
Until next
Except
time.
for you, Panda. Don't ever comment.